But Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get into this story. Now, of course, I can. Okay, so the way VGC did this is they have a piece of the interview. It's 47 seconds. I have already linked not only their Twitter account, so you should follow them. Again, in games media, it's rare to find a publication that isn't always chasing the clicks. They have, and I listen, it just is what it is. But I do like them. I have friends over there, and I do give constructive criticism. I don't try and pile on or anything like that. But I would definitely suggest, if you're looking for someone to follow that does do daily gaming news, I would definitely suggest going over to VGT Gaming News, which is at Gamer News on X. So it's at Gamer News on X. Give them a follow. Check it out. Now, if they're not for you, unsubscribe. But if they are for you and you appreciate it, let them know. But Fuzzy Belvedere, we got to get into the Sarah Bond conversation. Now, this, if you didn't know, folks, Sarah Bond was interviewed by Fortune magazine, and she talks about, in this interview, Xbox's future hardware. So what I'm going to do is, you know what, let me do a screen share here. Let me pause this footage for a second, and let me just remove that and do a screen share so you guys and gals can check it out. Now, granted, it's only 47 seconds, so it's not long, but I do want to show you what I am talking about. And of course, I want to shout out VGT for posting this. Now, again, I'm going to blow up the screen on my side of things. I'm going to move us out of the way, and I'm going to just blow this up a little bit more so you guys and gals can see exactly what is on the screen for you. And okay, so I'm going to play this, ladies and gentlemen, and you can check it out. Again, it's 47 seconds, and we'll give you right back to the Call of Duty footage. Here we go.
Hardware is absolutely core to everything that we do at Xbox, because we know that our most valuable players, the people who love Xbox, love the hardware experience. And so that is why we are working on our next generation hardware. It's going to be a powerful experience, and one that also enables people to take their library with them. And that's what's really important here as well, is that we know that while people want to play their library absolutely on the console, they also want to be able to play it on PC or stream it around the cloud. And so the Xbox experience starts with the console, but then gives something to people that they can experience across all screens if they choose to, bringing their library, their community, their identity, and the store with them everywhere they go.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put us back on the screen here. It's a really big deal that we have this confirmation, because obviously, there continues to be the conversation about Xbox not doing hardware. And look, I'm sorry, folks. If you are subscribed to a particular content creator, and I'm not telling you to unsubscribe to anybody, what I'm saying is this. Sarah Bond has talked about next generation hardware, and it's been reconfirmed, I don't know, a dozen times. Phil Spencer, obviously, he's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, confirmed hardware. Satya Nadella, who sits at the main chair, talked about he's excited for hardware. I don't know how much more you really need. When I see these interviews, I think that the fact that they're doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down is good. I really do. But look, I want to read some actual quotes from Sarah regarding what she had to say during this interview with Fortune magazine. Fuzzy, then we'll get your thoughts on this. Sarah goes on to say, we are working on our next generation hardware. It's going to be a powerful experience, and one that enables people to take their library with them. And that's what's really important here as well, is that we know that people want to play their library absolutely on the console. They also want to be able to play it on PC or stream it over the cloud. She goes on to say, and so the Xbox experience starts with the console, but then gives something to people that they can experience across all screens if they choose to, bringing their library, their community, their identity, and the store with them everywhere they go. I mean, again, this is more reaffirmation, if you will, that hardware is happening. The fact that people keep using, well, you can't play your entire library on these things yet. Folks, I get it. I understand that. There's over 1,000 games, and it might be actually more than that. If you can't play your game from 2006 on this thing and you're pissed off, then don't you waste your money. What can I tell you? Go play your Xbox 360. What do you want me to say? The fact that we have another interview where futuristic hardware has been reconfirmed. And again, I don't know what they do this this upcoming Game Awards. They could surprise us and they could do absolutely nothing. But the fact that they're working on this, we keep hearing all these rumors. There's the Steam box. There was an update to Xbox PlayFab, which is a really, really big deal. I don't think Xbox didn't know what Steam was doing, because I think that they're working in tandem, as a matter of fact. And again, we're going to go into that and my thoughts and theories more tomorrow on the Xbox Factor podcast. But Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get into this, because again, being able to take your identity, and I really think that that's important. And most people, I'm not saying everyone, but people make a choice. I support all the consoles, but my main place to play is Xbox. So I care about my friends list. I care about my achievements. I care about my games library. I buy a lot of games. A lot of the games that I'm buying now are Play Anywhere. I just bought a partnered handheld that I'm very much enjoying, that I use every other day. Do I use it every day? No. Have I used it a lot? Absolutely. I've gotten my money's worth and then some. But the fact that she has sat down with Fortune magazine, which, by the way, is no slouch when it comes to reporting tech news, FYI, I think that this is a really big deal. I want to get your thoughts on how big of a deal this is.
Yeah, they've reiterated that they're doing the new hardware umpteen times through several executives. So anybody that was thinking the Xbox is dead and they're not doing hardware is sadly mistaken. And they've been sadly mistaken for some time. Now, as far as when it comes to some of the new tech that they're going to have, basically making these forwards compatible with the stuff that currently works on your series console, will be able to work on this next console, plus whatever games are designated for that generation console. That's going to be the thing that they're pushing forward. And because of them doing the back compat, I think that's caused some of the other brands or the other platforms to do something similar. The biggest thing now is I Pragmatic Eagle said it, perfectly well in the chat, as far as like the people that are complaining about certain games that aren't even playable on like the series consoles. Like there are some 360 games, because of licensing or because of other limitations, just weren't able to be back compatible. A lot of them were the licensing, where that particular publisher wanted to charge people again to rebuy a remake or a remaster or something of that effect. But for anything that is currently playable on your series console, and pretty much that includes all of the Xbox One generation, with the, I guess, small exception of maybe the Kinect games. And then like there was several hundred games between the original Xbox and the 360. All of those will continue to work, as far as the ones that were working on the Xbox One as well as the series console. They'll work on this next one. And I think the big thing that people are missing is that this console is still going to be able to play those. It's not going to be like the handhelds of the current moment. The current moment with these handhelds are limited because of Microsoft tried to go the, I guess, the easier route, going through the publishers and making it so, hey, can we have this count as a dual entitlement? Like this device is technically a PC, but we're blurring the lines between PC and console. Can we go ahead and make this an okay playable thing? Because in technology standpoint, since these are based off of x86 games, all of the stuff should be playable. It's just a matter of, is the box checked for closing off the menus and things like that? Yes. Okay. Then it's a console version. If the box is unchecked, so you have access to the entire menus and adjustments and things, then, oh, it's the PC version. In a lot of cases, that's the real distinction, at least on the Xbox side of things. Going into this next generation, that line beat their head against the wall enough against with these publishers on that. So more than likely, what you'll see is that this will almost be like a dual boot box, which we won't know on the front end. You'll probably hit your controller button; it'll cut on just like a regular console. It'll play all the games that you choose to have it play. It'll have a curated list of your library, which will pull from your Steam library, your PC, Xbox games, your Epic library, your GOG, maybe even PlayStation if they have a PC store, which we'll see how soon that is. And I know there's rumors about them pulling back on that. I'll get to that later. But this next device will be able to play your current console games that are playable in the series consoles and a lot of the Xbox One console games or whatever was playable on that device on this device. When you switch to one that's geared specifically for what the next generation entails, you won't see any difference in your screen. You'll just hit the button to play it and it'll play. And likely that game will be a Xbox apt game, which will include PC and console at that point, or it will just be whatever they consider the new term that the publishers will have to agree to on that. And then anything that's PC only, when you click the button and it's a Steam game, you might see the Steam logo for a brief second, and then a second or two later, you're back into the game. And if they have the same quick resume type setup, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, Windows 12 will have quick resume like what we have on our consoles for PC. So I have a feeling we're going to see that integration or that expansion of quick resume also cover for the Steam games or cover for the Epic games or any other games that are not from the Xbox store. And you can kind of do that now with the Xbox Ally handheld, where you do the switch between things running in the background. But we'll see a better layout of that with the next box. But the big thing is, for all the console players out there wanting to look for the next Xbox console, this will pretty much do everything that you will want it to do. If you already have a Series console or an Xbox One, it'll do that and above that as far as performance is concerned. And if you have any inkling or interest in wanting to try out PC games, you'll be able to do that as well. The question might come up with VR games, but then again, there will be options for how you'll be able to access or play those on this box. So essentially, with this thing blurring those lines between console and PC, pretty much everything is open at that point. And I guess the only thing that we have to wait and see how publishers respond. There was a recent report that Xbox took away the NDA on some of the
Yes.
intricacies for like the Xbox or ID at Xbox. So if you're a smaller developer, like the same developers that typically go to Sony or Nintendo, there's less stuff that you have to kind of sign a contract to and keep your mouth shut and worry about in the back end as far as making that game. I think the big thing now is that if they are able to qualify for ID Xbox, they'll see that the advertising or marketing costs or the entry level procedures to get on that platform are going to be greatly reduced. The other big thing, I have a gut feeling, since they're leaning more PC like going into this next generation, they may take, as a shareholder, that's probably going to hurt, but I think it will grow things in the long term. They're probably going to take a smaller cut for a lot of these publishers. Like they currently take a 30% cut, which pretty much everybody but Epic does at this point. If they go to the 12% that they're only doing on like the PC side of things right now, where a lot of these publishers have agreed to be play anywhere, more than likely that'll increase the amount of play anywhere games. So that'll benefit those that buy like the ROG Xbox Ally X or any of those PC handhelds. It may even get to the point where we'll be able to emulate some of that stuff on the Series console and the Xbox One if you should choose to. But we'll see how that works. But the big thing is you'll get more developers on the platform without having to go to Steam. You'll probably get more developers wanting to do that play anywhere because they're able to pocket 88% instead of just the 70%. So there's a lot of things that they're doing between the hardware and then how they're organizing their store and the business aspects of it that are going to be more beneficial not only to the consumers, us the gamers, but it's also going to be beneficial to the devs, making it a more of a hub to go to. And then if for whatever reason the devs choose not to come to Xbox, well, if they come to Steam, just buy it through Steam. If they go to Epic, because sometimes they get exclusives as well, go to Epic. And then pretty much everybody else goes to GOG or itch.io and stuff like that. So pretty much the sky's the limit. And then, like I said earlier, if PlayStation, which I believe they're going to have a PC store here soon, you'll probably even have that app on this next Xbox if you should choose to want to play any of their first party titles before they come to Steam or what have you, kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this next piece of hardware, it's going to blur those lines between PC and console, and it's going to make it so much easier for us as gamers to be like, you know what, Escape from Tarkov, that's never coming to console, but guess what? I can play it on my next Xbox.
You
Oh,
could.
Hades 2 went over to the Switch before it went to PlayStation or Xbox. Well, I have a copy of it on Steam, so I don't have to worry about it. And then for the pirates out there, hopefully Nintendo lawyers aren't listening. Emulation will more than likely be something that you'll see how-tos out there if you should want to play, those plumber games or those, any of the Nintendo, I guess, IP that is out there on PC illegally right now. So not saying I condone that or anything, but just it's out there. So you'll be able to do that as well if you choose. So can't wait to see this hardware.
I mean, listen, I don't know if we're gonna get a glimpse, and it would be pretty dope to get a glimpse at any hardware, right? Whether it be the Xbox made devices, because I think it's a pair. I don't think that they release a one box to rule them all. I just don't, and I don't think it's going to be $1,000. I think that it could be close to it. Sure, we've heard that. We've also heard $1,200, which I don't know where it came from, but fine, whatever. But I do think that there is going to be, and this is the rumor that's been floating around for months now, that there is going to be another SKU, right? Whether it's called the S model or not, there's going to be an entry device into next generation. I still think that Xbox, and we have heard this, Sarah has talked about this, they want to make their own handheld. They're using what they have learned so far with the partnership with Asus for the Xbox Ally and Ally X, and they're going to take that information and they're going to move it forward. So I do think that there is a real shot that instead of people copying Xbox, they should just copy what the Switch did. Make a dockable device that is cheaper, that gives you less power, because again, it's going to be technically a PC. It's going to give you everything that a PC can do. And I know there's been some detractors. Oh, but this is going to be a net situation. No, it's not. It's not going to be anything like the S situation, because they're going to be making these games for PC, and the PC is going to be, all of your PC games are going to be playable on these things. So again, we'll see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what they actually show, because I hope that they do show hardware at some point or another. And I kind of, maybe I'm a little fanboy dreaming here, but it's someone in the chat had said, and again, no, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. It's their opinion that it's kind of annoying that they keep talking about hardware, but we're not expecting any hardware to 27. And they're not actually wrong, but I think that they really have to keep driving this point home, not to be annoying, but to fend off all of the false narratives that continue to be put against Xbox. I really think that again, listen, their shareholders know what they're doing. But at the same time, how many reports can you say that you remember that in the last month, 3 months, 6 months, Xbox out, Xbox is no hardware, Xbox is leaving gaming? So they actually have to talk about it. But again, this is my fanboy dreaming moment, folks. So walk with me on this. I think they keep talking about hardware because they are going to show something off. That's just my fanboy dreaming thought. I could be 1,000% wrong. And you know, the truth of the matter is, I probably am wrong. But I am willing to put myself out there and potentially say what I think is happening. And even if it doesn't happen, well, you know what? I've been wrong before. No big deal.